In a small African village, nestled between rolling hills and lush greenery, there lived a young woman named Adanna. Adanna was known far and wide for her beauty and her skillful weaving. Her heart, however, longed for something more. One day, a handsome traveller named Kwam arrived in the village. Adanna's heart fluttered at the sight of him, and she resolved to win his affection. She showered him with attention, cooked him delicious meals, and adorned herself in the finest garments she had woven. But despite her efforts, Kwame remained indifferent to her advances. He was a wanderer at heart, not seeking the ties of love and commitment. Undeterred, Adanna continued to pursue Kwame, hoping that her love would eventually win him over. She neglected her own passions and interests, spending all her time and energy trying to keep him by her side. But the more she tried to hold on to him, the more he slipped away. As time passed, Adanna's friends and family grew concerned. They could see the toll Kwame's indifference was taking on her. They urged her to let him go, reminding her of her worth and talents. But Adanna was blinded by love, unable to see beyond her desire for Kwame's affection. One evening, as Adanna sat weaving by the light of the moon, an elderly woman approached her. She was a wise storyteller, known for her fables that held deep truths. Sensing Adanna's sorrow, the old woman began to tell her, "It is said," she began, "that there once lived a beautiful bird who fell in love with a stone. Day and night, the bird sang sweet melodies and performed graceful dances, hoping to capture the stone's heart. But no matter how hard she tried, the stone remained cold and unmoved." Adanna listened intently, sensing the parallels between the story and her own life. Finally, the old woman continued. The bird realized that she was wasting her precious energy on something that could never love her in return. With a heavy heart, she flew away, leaving the stone behind. And in her freedom, she found true happiness. As the old woman's words sank in, Adanna felt a surge of realization wash over her. She had been like the bird, pouring her love into someone who could never reciprocate it. With newfound clarity, she made a decision. The next day, Kwame found Adanna sitting atop a hill overlooking the village. He approached her, expecting her usual declarations of love. But instead, he was met with silence. Without a word, Adanna stood up and spread her arms wide. With a graceful movement, she began to dance, her movements fluid and mesmerizing. Kwame watched in astonishment as Adanna danced with a newfound joy and confidence, no longer seeking his approval. In that moment, Adanna realized that she had lost herself in trying to keep a man who did not love her. But in letting him go, she had found herself once again. And as she danced beneath the African sun, she knew that her happiness could never depend on anyone else but herself.